It's been a while now since we met. It was on the internet.
Hello and welcome to the Astraddle podcast. Today, to my left is Lee as usual, and to my right is Layla.
Hi, I'm Lee, and we've got guest Layla. She's a rugby player, and I've been waiting so long to do this. It's going to be amazing, this podcast. Okay, so Layla, thank you for coming down and being a part of this podcast.
No problem, my pleasure.
Been looking forward to this for so long. Just give us an insight of your playing career and how you got into rugby.
Okay, so really I'm quite new to rugby, as in playing rugby. I've always been a fan of the sport for as long as I can remember, in particular sort of men's rugby. But I've only been into women's rugby probably for the last 3 years. I really got into watching women's rugby and started playing myself only a year ago. So, wow. Yeah, I left it quite late on in life. I'm 42 now.
Seriously?
So, yeah. So, a bit of an old-timer, but new to playing the sport, so...
Age is only a number.
It is, definitely. I absolutely believe that.
So, did you start playing it as contact, or was it touch rugby?
Yeah, so what happened, I was a spectator of the sport, was really, in particular, the women's sevens, the international sevens, absolutely fell in love with watching it. And, the more I watched it, the more I decided that I wanted to play, but I was terrified of the thoughts of contact because obviously it's such a physical game, and I thought I can't do this, I'm too old. But I had a bit of encouragement. Actually, a personal trainer I was working with, it was an ex-professional for Leicester Tigers, and he encouraged me and said, you know what, just give it a go, because you're strong, you're building muscle and everything, and just give it a go, see how you get on. So at first I decided to play touch, so I sort of went on the internet and just searched for the local touch team and turned up there, and that was my first experience of rugby doing touch. So
excellent. And did you get injured the first time you played touch rugby?
No, it wasn't the first time I played touch. I got injured my first contact match.
That's it. Yes. My research is just...
But I've had a few injuries with touch, to say it's non-contact, because I play in a team with all guys, and a lot of them are players or coaches, and so yeah, I mean, the thing is, they're tough guys, and when they've played rugby all their life and they're playing touch and they're running, sometimes they forget that it's non-contact. So I've been skittled a few times. It's all good fun.
I think if I got tackled, I think I'd stay down. Definitely stay down. How about you, Danny?
Well, I mean, I played a bit of rugby. I was good in that, but no, it's not for me.
Yeah, I think you're either in that camp or not, aren't you? It's a very different game to football, but that's the exciting part of it. When you're playing and the adrenaline and everything, and you just get hooked. So
I know when I went to the 2015 World Cup game, it was Australia versus Fiji.
Wow.
And we got a couple of Australians behind us, and they were literally, because there was more people supporting Fiji at the game,
right.
And this Aussie guy behind us is like, I don't know why they're supporting them. Most of these people have never been to Fiji, and I just turned around and went, I have. I loved it, and I do love the sport. I think it's great. I can't play it.
Right.
I know it's good.
Yeah. And of course, Fijians, they're some of the best players in the world. I mean, I'm a staunch All Blacks fan, and obviously, Savuris, a couple of the players are Fijians, so they're amazing players, and some of the women as well. Like Australia have got a lady called Elia Green, and she's Fijian. They call her the Green Machine. She's an absolute beast on the pitch. So huge respect for Fijians.
I'm actually doing the game for the Six Nations women on March the 7th.
Okay, right.
At Twickers. I am so looking forward to it.
Fantastic. That's so exciting.
It's the first time I've been to Twickers. So
yeah.
I'm so looking forward to it.
Wow.
So how did you get into doing, liking the All Blacks team?
The All Blacks, that was from like as young as I can remember. You know what it is? First of all, it was the haka.
Oh, yeah.
And like I say, from being a child, I mean, rugby's great, but there's just some magic about the All Blacks, and I've always been absolutely fascinated. But in particular, this year for the World Cup, which is really difficult for me because I do also support England.
Yeah.
And like I say, my love for the All Blacks when it came to the the finals, and when England played the All Blacks, it was so difficult because obviously at the clubhouse they were all going to watch the match to support England.
Yeah.
But of course I was still supporting New Zealand.
I have a story of when I was in Australia. We went to a bar and it was Australia versus New Zealand in this bar. They were watching it.
Right.
And it was deadly silent. We walked in. They knew we were English.
Yeah.
Nobody spoke to us. And as soon as the whistle went, one person came up to us and said, "Are you here on holiday or work?" And we said honeymoon.
Okay.
And it was half the pub was Aussies,
Yeah.
half the pub New Zealand, and everybody bought us a pint.
Really?
It was
fantastic.
amazing.
Do you know that's one of the amazing things I love about international rugby is it doesn't matter who you support, it's just the love of the sport. And when you go to the sevens and there's all the different, international teams and everybody's, all sat together, so you're sat with, the French and the Spanish and all the different teams, and it's just that unity, and I really like that because I don't know about football, but it doesn't seem to be as much. So whereas people are just united for the love of the sport, and I think that's a beautiful thing about rugby.
So putting rugby aside a second, so what do you do other than rugby then, away from rugby?
Okay, I'm quite a busy lady actually. I'm one of these people, I'm like a bit of a butterfly, always fluttering about I don't like to sit still too long. So I work full time, I work as a buyer, I work for a shoe care factory. So I buy sort of from China and Eastern Europe. And then in my spare time, well, I had a big fitness journey when I turned, I think it was 39, and I lost 4 stone in 10 months. So, it was a turning point in my life, me coming to 40, because I think you start reflecting on your life. And, I was overweight, I was unfit. And I was thinking, do you know what, I don't want to turn 40 and be overweight. So I started this fitness journey, lost the weight, started at the gym and started doing weights, like I say, working with this personal trainer who was an ex-pro for Leicester Tigers. And again, just got completely hooked in that with the fitness. So that is just absolutely part and parcel of my life now. I train about 5-6 times a week. So I tend to go in the morning before I go to work and quite often after. I keep very busy with all sorts of different aspects of fitness, within the gym and classes and things like that. So that takes a big part of my life up. And then I also like walking. I love the outdoors. I'm a big outdoors person. Yeah, I think it's good for the soul. Just get out, blow the cobwebs off. And of course, I live in Derbyshire, so we've got the Peak District. It's absolutely stunning. So so I like to go out walking. Like long distance walks. 16, 18 miles, something like that.
No.
So but I'm one of these people, I like to live outside of the comfort zone. So what I do is I have like this vision board and I plan all things out for the year, and I try and push myself and do new things. So like a thing I've never done before. So I'm one of these people, I'm up for anything. That's why, when you said about the podcast, I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Because, they say that's where the magic happens, isn't it? Outside the comfort zone.
Absolutely.
So it's always good to do new things.
I mean, I can walk, I just choose to ride a motorbike more than walk.
Oh, really?
Although, in the last 2 years, I'm turning 40 this year.
Okay, right.
And apparently the average age to have a knee replacement is 69.
Oh, right, wow.
And I was 25 stone.
Wow.
I've had the operation. I was also diabetic. I had the operation. It got reversed because I lost 10 stone.
Wow, that's
I've-
amazing. Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you. I do a little bit more walking now. I tend to eat better, not as good as pro athletes, but
Right.
I've seen the stuff on your Instagram of all the workouts that you do.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
I'm just not. I am motivated, but I just don't make time for it, unfortunately. How about you, Danny? Do you go
As in,
to the gym?
oh, well, I have done, but obviously with the injuries I've had recently, I've not really been for around a year and a half, mainly just like recovering from the knee injury really. Stuff at home, making sure that I'm not overdoing it, but making sure I'm recovering properly. So then when I do go back into like football and stuff, I can.
I'm gonna say you're going into football at the moment, aren't you? You've done trials for Ilkeston.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was it was an experience. Hopefully, I mean, it was very tough. I mean, there's a lot of good players. Playing with people who are mostly a year or two older than me, a bit taller, a bit a bit stronger. But I think with the weather conditions as well, the pitch being a bit boggy, I think held my own.
Pretty sure you did well, mate.
Certain times, but I mean, it's down to the academy coach now whether he sees something in me, and then I mean hopefully. But if I do, then I've got to put in a lot of effort, and
What position do you play though, Dan?
Well, I mean, 2 years ago before my injury, I was mainly a goalkeeper. But then now, obviously, going into like the later stages of youth football, the goals are obviously a lot bigger. So with me only being about 5'6", 5'7", sometimes I struggle, with my height to get up to them. Balls like up near the crossbar and like top corners and stuff. So I've transferred into like a right mid, centre mid kind of position. But I mean, I'm about to play anywhere. To be fair, if you want me to do a job up front, I'll try my best. If you want me to, start in defence, I'll start in defence.
I think we should get you training for American football.
Sounds good.
Well,
come and join my team.
I mean, if that's something
if possible, you can run, you've got a job there, mate.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, we'll just take a break for a second. And we are back from our just little break that we had. Where was it we finished off? What was we talking about? It was something. Oh, I was talking to Danny. But,
right, yeah. Yeah.
We've just been talking.
Glad somebody remembers.
It was something football-wise. We've just been talking in the break about Chelsea, to be fair, and playing Tottenham today. Absolutely dominated Tottenham. But we were just talking about the incident in the week where Harry Maguire should have been sent off, but never did, unfortunately. But we'll bring it back in topic now. So different shaped ball, different game altogether. We're going to talk about a bit like American football. Would you ever consider doing, going into American football?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like watching it, and I always thought because they were all sort of padded up that it wasn't as difficult a game, because it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt, right? Because you've got all that padding on, but apparently it does. Apparently it's quite a lethal game. But I mean, it looks amazing to watch it. I don't know too much about the sport, but yeah, given the opportunity, I'd definitely have a crack at that. Yeah.
They seem to use their head a lot because they've got a helmet. But the helmet doesn't help when you get concussion, so
right,
it's really bad. But also, if you don't want to do full contact, they've got American football flag, which is it's like touch. Basically, you've got two flags put onto you like a harness.
Right.
And you've got the ball, and if you've got the ball, they can, if they get the flag off you,
yeah,
it's a point to them.
That sounds good.
It's really different. I've covered a few of the American football flag games, and I used to do photos for Nottingham full contact, and I've just hit the stand again, my fault. I really do enjoy it. I really like the Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Yeah. As I said, I didn't realise it was a thing in the UK until recently, and I've heard that there's quite a few teams around the UK, and I think it's amazing because a sport like that, it's to grow in the UK. I think that can only be a good thing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I am actually part owner of a team called the Anfield Empires, and we're not all there yet. We've got most of the coaches. We've got the media team. I am on the media team. I have to be. It's within the laws, and we're just picking players now. But we are going to have a guys team and a girls team.
Amazing. Do you get much interest then? To get players. Is there?
Especially around the East Midlands, there's a lot of really good players playing for the Leicester teams, and if you can I won't say poach them, but if you can offer them something that they're not going to get around here, and it's very interesting, and get them to come play for you. And we basically have the Super Bowl. It's like the Super Bowl in this country.
Wow.
They play the excuse me. They play the to the playoffs, and then if they win, they go. There's one event every year where the two teams that have played the best play against each other, and I've covered it a few times doing photos for it. It was absolutely amazing.
Fantastic. So is there like leagues then within the
Oh
UK?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. The governing body is BAFA, and basically it's a massive event for them.
Yeah.
But they also do ice hockey as well, which I was because I saw one of the guys who was on the board, and he was doing American football officiating one day, and then I was doing an ice hockey game up in Liverpool, and he was actually there as well doing that. I was like,
I'm a big ice hockey. I used to live in Calgary in Canada, and they've got the obviously the Calgary team. I'll forget the name of them now. Shame on me. Calgary Stampeders.
oh
is
yes,
it, I
yeah,
think?
yeah.
And ice hockey is a massive. They're absolutely massive. So
That's their actual national sport, isn't it?
it is, yeah. Yeah, it is. So like all the kids and everything, they all want to be ice hockey players. Because obviously in the winter there, it gets so cold, all the lakes and everything freeze. So you can just get your skates on, and you know all the
Absolutely.
kids just go and play. It's amazing.
I mean, I can't ice skate, but I would learn if I could actually play it. 'Cause I have actually wanted to do ice hockey, but I'm just not good on my feet.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's another quite brutal game though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Ice
yeah,
hockey. They
yeah.
don't mess about with those sticks.
I actually saw a game when I was in Liverpool, and they was literally fighting on the ice,
Yeah, yeah.
and I just couldn't believe it, and they were just letting them do it. I'm like, fair enough. But that was, that's ice hockey for you.
Yeah.
But personally, I'd rather stay on my feet and no violence. But
Yeah, stick to football
yeah,
then.
yeah. I'll stick to football. I'll stick to watching it and taking photos of it. It's just a lot easier.
Yeah, well, I mean, my brother-in-law and brother are, I wouldn't say big, but they're fans of ice hockey, and they go to watch Panthers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Oh,
But
nice.
I mean, I've been to one game, and yeah, it's brutal. Literally, if you just go behind each other and just straight into the back and shoving them into the board and stuff like that. I mean, it's good. It takes a lot of skill and stuff, but it's very lethal.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually have a Florida Panthers and a Mighty Ducks jersey. Does that mean I'm actually a fan? Mighty Ducks because I've watched them and I actually like the jersey, and Florida Panthers because I go to Florida that often. It's like I've got to get something, and I also got a Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey for my missus because she was a Pats fan, but because she's been to see the Bucks in Florida, the American football, year before, she's like, I'm going to support them, fair enough, because it's a lot warmer in Florida than it is in New England.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually off
Nice.
to New England this year, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. I'd love to go to New England.
We're basically doing the Stephen King, wherever he's ever filmed a movie or a TV show, that's where we're going.
That sounds fantastic.
And we're doing a tour. We're going to go and stay in a place called Rangeley, and it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And it's just this log cabin and a lake.
Yeah.
And, a
sounds
moose,
like heaven.
moose from all you can see. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my camera out, I'm just going to take some photos, stock up on beer, and I'm done. I'm just
Sounds
chilling.
like my kind of holiday. Have you ever been to America, Danny?
No.
Would you like
no.
to?
I wouldn't say I mean, it would be nice, but I mean, I think there's other places where I'd like to go and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Where would you like to go, Danny?
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly a big holiday person, to be fair, but I mean, it would be nice to go to America, but then it's deciding where to go. Really,
Yeah,
I think
it's so diverse, isn't it?
yeah, especially with it being like affordable to go pretty much anywhere nowadays. It's always a hard decision for me to decide where I want to go. I mean, Florida would be nice. A bit of Los Angeles. I mean, that would be nice, but
I've been to LA. I liked it a little bit. I was only there for a couple of days.
What part was you in?
I was in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
But we travelled through Compton and everywhere else to get there.
Okay.
That is kind of scary, but LA itself, before 9 o'clock is lovely. When the sun goes down, it's just like Nottingham City Centre. It can be horrendous, but to be fair, we was only there for 2 days. We didn't actually experience a lot of it, all the good things. It was basically a stopover from Fiji. It's like we need to just, because we crossed the date line. We took off from Fiji at 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
On Saturday night, we landed in LA 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. We were absolutely shattered, and it was a nice little bit while we were there. But I want to go to Texas. I really want to go to Texas.
Really? Yeah. Is that to do with the American football?
Partly, yeah. Well, majority, yeah. I just want to see what it's like there, because I've heard so many different stories.
Yeah.
Some people say it's horrendous. Some people say it's good. So
As I was talking in the break, I dated a guy from Texas, from Dallas,
Yes.
and he said it was very, very dangerous to live there. And he said living here was completely different because you could walk around the streets and you'd be safe and everything, whereas there everybody has guns and it's just a norm. And you don't realise in the UK how safe we are. I mean, I know we have crime and everything, but I think when you look at other countries, it makes you realise that it's really not that bad living here in the UK.
There's a thing that goes around Facebook a hell of a lot, and it's things that you see in Walmart. And in Walmart, Danny won't know this because he's not been. It's a real big supermarket.
Oh, I love Walmart.
They actually own Asda.
That's right.
And you can buy guns and everything in there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but you can buy car parts. You
can buy everything.
Yeah, it's huge. but it is worth trying it. And they've got one called Publix, and they do the best subs ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I bought one last time, and it was more than a foot long, and it took me at least an hour to eat it.
Wow.
It was huge.
They know how to eat in America,
God,
don't
yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Portion sizes.
Absolutely.
When I lived in Canada, and I was 18 when I moved out there.
Wow.
And it was like a different world, just going into the supermarkets and just seeing the sizes of everything, and just like takeaway places everywhere. It's amazing, but obviously I think that's why they have such problems with obesity and everything, isn't it? It's all readily available, and yeah.
Would you like to go to Greece, Danny?
Greece.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I used to live there.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay. How long was that for?
2 years.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, didn't their economy just collapse or something?
It kind of did, but you
Yeah.
don't go there for that. You go there for a good time.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know much about it, but yeah. I mean, I'm happy to go anywhere. To be fair.
I used to live there. I was there for 2 years, and the reason I came back is because I drank so much. I had to come home to dry out. That was in the summer, working 6 months of the year, literally pouring drinks, and I think I drank as much as I did pour.
Wow.
And in the winter, they was all closed, so all my friends out there own bars, so we'd go over to the bars that was closed in the winter, and all we'd do is drink.
Really?
So it was a win-win situation.
Yeah.
If you like your alcohol. I mean, I did drink a hell of a lot of Jack them 2 years, but I used to drink all the local stuff. I think you'd like it, Dan. I really do. It's about a 4-hour flight, but depending on where you go. I mean, I used to live in Zante.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. The Greek islands are lovely,
yeah,
aren't they? I've been to a few of them. Because when I was younger, it was a thing, the girls' holidays, and it was a lot cheaper then,
Oh, yeah.
before it all went on the euro. And you could go, we went to Falaraki, Malia, all those different places, and had some crazy nights there.
I could tell some stories about what went off, but this is a PG podcast. It's kind of wrong. But no, it was really good when I lived there. And then I've been back once actually since I got married, and my wife wanted to go to see where I lived for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, we don't really want to go on holiday time because don't really want to tell her, oh yeah, I was here. Not being the nicest of persons. I wasn't exactly, it was weird when I was there, but when I took her, I got a friend out there who put us up for a week.
Oh, right, nice.
It was over Easter, So we paid for his flight. We didn't have to pay for accommodation. We didn't have to pay for food. Even a hire car didn't have to pay for.
Really?
Yeah, because
Fantastic.
I
That's
knew
what
the
you
guy,
want.
I knew the guy that owned it, and I was willing to pay every time. I was willing to pay somebody, take my money so I could hire something or do something, but they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the minute we got there, we got whisked off to this party. There was 2 goats on a spit and as much beer as you could think of, and there was like, here you go, and I'm like, well, why not? But that's another story. That could be a podcast on its own, some of the stories I could tell you. But we'd have to say, we'd have to put a disclaimer on there saying this is what happened. So we'll have another break, yes? Okay, so today we went to cover a football match today. It was Ilkeston Town versus Leek. What was the score, Danny?
A 2-0 home win for Ilkeston, the first home win in the league since December 7th.
Wow. Has it really been that long?
Well, I think so. I mean, I hope I've got my facts right. I looked on the league website, and yeah, I think it's December 7th, last home league win.
That's crazy, mate. That is proper crazy. But I tell you what, they played really well. The league are top of the league, and they didn't actually cover themselves in glory.
Well, I mean, I don't know if the assistant manager has a big thing to do with this, but from as soon as the whistle was blown, even in the warm-ups, you could tell the lads was really up for it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's because, it's a big occasion. Obviously, you're hosting the league leaders, really.
Yeah.
And the last time a Ilkeston side played league at the New Manor Ground, it was a playoff final when they won 2-0. And then got promoted into what is now the Northern Premier League, like Premier kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think roughly about 10 years since that happened. So
Wow.
that might have been, something extra to add to the occasion. So it means it was up for it even more. But I mean, it's taken a while. But I think Ilkeston have got to the stage now where, obviously, the players know each other a lot more. They know what they want to do. Gandhi's been at the club for a while now, so I mean, I think it's one of the things where slowly, but I think we've got to that place now where I think we're comfortable.
Okay.
We've got a team full of talented players. We've got experience mixed with youth, and it just goes to show what hard work on and off the pitch can do.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Oh, okay.
Who's your favourite player?
At Ilkeston?
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Oh,
I don't think.
You've got to. I've asked the question.
I don't think I have a favourite player. In terms of ability, I wouldn't say I really look at that. I look at like the team as a whole.
Do you want to know my favourite player?
But yeah, go on then.
All of them.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
I think in terms of fan favourite as a whole, I think the Marshalls are there because local lads.
Yeah.
Grew up playing, especially Alex grew up playing. Went through the ranks with the youth team and then went out, played a bit of non-league, and then when Ilkeston Town formed, he came and he's been here since the first season. So
have you been down? I know we talked about it like a few weeks ago. We was going to go down and watch the girls.
yeah.
Have you been down to see them before?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did media for them two seasons ago, I think.
Cool.
I did the photos for them, and then I did like the graphics and basically what I'm doing now, but not as good.
Not as good.
No, that was when I was starting off, and then I did that
started.
for a couple of months, and then the season ended, and then I created my own team, as you're aware.
Yeah.
You've done some work for us before.
I have, yes.
And I guess when I started that, we played on a Sunday. Still do most of the time. So I guess I didn't have as much free time on a Sunday.
So when's your next game?
Well, tomorrow we're playing. I want to say Mines 11. I think I haven't set up this game for a change.
Wow.
But I don't think I'll be there. Spending time with family, with it being my niece's second birthday,
Which
is I find rather ironic that the first game for Treetops was the day my niece was born. So,
Oh,
yeah.
bless.
Share a birthday, I guess.
Cool. Well, we're going to just talk to Layla again about the Six Nations. To be fair, just a couple of questions.
Okay.
Can you remember the stat, Danny, for how much the men get paid for the English Six Nations?
What, as in prize money?
Yeah.
Or, well, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I think around 1.6, 1.5 million.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so my question, Layla, how much is it that the girls get paid for prize money?
Yeah, so this is a bit of a bugbear of mine because, as I say, I'm a huge fan of women's rugby, a huge supporter. And do you know what? The women's team, the England team, don't get any prize money.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's so unfair because I'm actually going tomorrow to Doncaster to see England versus Ireland.
Yeah.
And I went last year. Absolutely amazing, to watch international rugby at that level. These women work so hard day in, day out, and a lot of them have to work and and obviously train rugby, in the professional teams and everything. I mean, there is funding now for the England team, but apart from that, they really, really struggle to get funding, and the fact that the prize money is nothing at the side of the men's, like, how unfair is that? It's really bad.
There's a serious issue there. That, for me, if they play the same sport, they're giving it 110% like the guys.
Of
Sometimes
course.
I have actually seen the women's game in either football or rugby where you can tell they're playing a lot better than the guys because they're trying to prove themselves.
Yeah.
And if they don't get any recognition or prize money, what is wrong with this, with the governing bodies? It's just so wrong. Personally, I think the girls should get exactly the same in prize money.
Absolutely, yeah. And it should be the same with clubs as well, like local clubs. There should be some more support for teams. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm lucky I play for Chef Ladies. Before I played for Chesterfield Panthers. Unfortunately, the team collapsed due to lack of support and lack of numbers. But Sheffield Ladies, we have a lot of support, and the team, they're great at supporting us. But around the country, a lot of clubs really struggle to get the promotion. But it is growing as a sport, women's rugby, and it's such an amazing game. It's fantastic. I mean, like I say, tomorrow at Doncaster, it's going to be an amazing day. And so I'm absolutely wishing all the England women all the best for tomorrow.
Is it on TV tomorrow?
They don't put it on the regular TV like ITV. They don't show it on, but I think they show it on some, I don't know if it's like a Scottish channel or something, or it's really hard to, when it's women's rugby, it's really hard to find where they show that. So it'll be broadcast somewhere, but yeah, it's not on ITV, which again is a shame.
Do you know if it's a sellout yet, or
yes, apparently this one is.
Is it really?
Last year,
Wow.
I think this is another thing. Like, I think the England Six Nations one last year in Twickenham. I don't know, you might know better than me, the capacity, I think it was about 40,000 people went to see England, whereas at Doncaster there was 4,000 people turned up. So, but this year, thankfully, is sold out, which again just goes to show that the sport is growing, and maybe to do with the World Cup this year.
That's amazing. It's a bit like the England ladies football. I've covered a couple of games when they played Wales for the World Cup qualification.
Okay.
It was down in Wales. Went and got some really good photos, but a few years back I was in America. I was in Florida, and it was the first time I noticed that there was in this cup called the She Believes Cup, and it was a tournament just in at Tampa Bay where I've been before, and went there, and to watch two games they charge you something like $12, and it was like you watched an England game and you watched. It was England versus Germany, I think it was, and France versus America.
Right.
And it was an amazing atmosphere. The place was packed solid. They know how to do everything in America better. And when they're actually out there shortly, because they won last year,
Right.
the England team did, and they're out there again within the next week or so to defend the title.
Really? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and I've got a friend, and he follows the Lionesses round everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'll do a shout out to him right now, Jess. I think you're going to She Believes. I'm not 100% sure this time because I don't know whether work is a bit of an issue at the moment, but he goes to practically he's been all over, and he loves the Lionesses. So the fact that Phil Neville's in charge of them now, they're getting a bit more taken notice
That's
of.
right. Yeah, there was a documentary, wasn't there? Because I'm not into football as such, but I think I could get into women, like, because I love any women's sport. But yeah, it was really interesting, the documentary about the Lionesses. They're a good bunch of girls, aren't they? And
Absolutely.
they seem to be doing really well as well.
I know a couple of them.
Yeah.
It's which is good for me, to be fair. And I do like watching the game on TV, and if you can get to a couple of games when they've done the games locally, it's not that expensive to go watch them.
Really? Do you know I should go? Because do you know what? I've never been to a football match in my life. That's crazy,
Really?
isn't it? Not, I mean, I live in Chesterfield, and Chesterfield have got a team. I think they're just about almost like demoted to Sunday League now. But yeah, I've never ever been to a football match. So do you know what? I'm going to put that on my bucket list to go see the Lionesses.
The next time the Lionesses are playing in England,
Yeah.
I'll give you a shout. I'll go ticket.
Oh, perfect! You're on.
Yeah. You want to come as well, Danny?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. We'll make a day of it. Yeah. We're just going to ask a couple of questions now. Just funny questions, to be fair.
Okay.
What is your pet peeve, whether that's in sport or not?
Okay, well, I guess in sport and out of sport, my absolute pet peeve is racism.
Yep.
And this is something that's very prevalent within, I know, again, I'm not a football fan, but you hear such a lot in the media. I mean, obviously there's, some of the international teams and the players, and even within England, you have a lot of sort of immigrants who come to play football, who are absolutely amazing and talented, and put everything in, leave the families, and when people are racist against them because they come from another country or the colour of the skin, and that's something that I absolutely can't tolerate in sport or outside of sport. I find that really difficult to deal with. So yeah, that's my pet peeve. The world's moved on. We're a multicultural society, and you know what? Like, judge a person by the character. What they do. Don't judge them on the skin or anything. Actually, age,
Totally
ability, anything like that. So
totally agree. Also, we do know that like football fans, rugby does like its alcohol. What is your favourite alcoholic drink?
Alcoholic drink. Well, do you know what? I was never a big drinker, and I'm one of these, like, I can't take a pint. Like, I get drunk so quickly. But of course, with rugby, it's part and parcel of the game, isn't it?
I've seen, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, since I've started playing rugby, I've put quite a lot of weight on, and the reason being is the social life, because after the games you get all the chip butties and chicken and chips and the beer. When you've played a game, you've been running around the pitch, like, a pint, I can do it, no problem now. So yeah, I'm definitely getting a seasoned drinker since I've been playing rugby.
That's pretty awesome. What team do you play for again?
Sheffield Ladies. So I'm in the second team. We're called the Roses. So it's basically a development team. So I'm quite happy playing at that level as well, because I do support our first team girls. They're in the Championship League, and those games are brutal. They at first I thought, I'm going to sort of get myself together and play in the first team, but I absolutely love supporting them. But they do put their bodies on the line every time they play. It's to such a high level. They're amazing. My absolute respect goes to them. But I'm quite happy playing in the development team, because the thing is, we're chill. We a lot of the time we play sort of barbarian style, so we'll like mash up with a few different teams, like so. For example, we played the other week with Derby Vipers, and they were short of players. So what we'll do is we'll lend each other players, and we'll just swap about and everything. And you're just doing it for the fun of the sport. So it's not so strict in terms of you're not playing in a league. The refs are a little bit more forgiving, and I mean, when I played for Derby, I actually played for their team, and I played fullback. and I made a really bad mistake. As fullback, you're supposed to be a good kicker. And so I got hold of the ball and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to kick this ball right down the pitch. So I kicked it and it went up, we went really high, but it actually went back towards the try line. I was like, no, but it doesn't matter. When it's at that level, it's all about learning. So I'm quite happy just staying in the development teams for now.
That was an epic fail.
Yeah. Yeah, I was dick of the match for that one, that's for sure.
I watched a game, well, I was covering the England-Wales deaf team.
Oh, okay.
About a month ago.
Right.
And went down. It was in Essex. Went down, and there was this. The guys' game was later on. The girls' was early on, and there was this one girl. She'd done a tackle, not actually got the person. She was on the floor, and this girl had got at least 10-metre advantage on her.
Right.
She got straight up. Had the pitch been 10 metres longer,
Right.
she would have caught her. And the girl and the Welsh girl got a try, and I was like, so good
no
for
way.
her. The photos of it, she actually, as it was, the photo, she grabbed hold of her as she was going over the try line. She pushed her.
Oh, wow.
Had it been a bit the pitch been longer,
Yeah.
she would have caught her.
Oh.
And I was proper gutted for her. But then I watched the guys' team, and I was like, this looks brutal, because they really. It just England was camped on the Welsh's try line for a good 10 minutes.
Right,
they just
right.
could not
Yeah.
get through it,
Uh-huh.
and it was just unbelievable to watch. But we won both. I think we won both, actually. I think because it was England versus Wales in both, and I think they won them. But I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check.
Yeah.
But it was a damn good day. And the beer was flowing. The food was lovely. And the hospitality was just unreal.
Yeah, it's just such a good vibe, isn't it? You know, when you go and see the rugby match. I suppose it's same with football, but, you know, that's a big part. Like, I love spectating as much as I love playing.
Yeah.
I really do. Because, it's just great to get involved and, you know, be part of it.
I think what we should do is, I said, you know how you swap players to help them? I think Messi and Ronaldo should swap teams. You know, because
Barbarian style football.
yeah, I think it'd be
Sounds
great.
good.
What do you reckon, Danny?
No. I'm not for that, no.
Why? I've never actually asked you. Are you a Messi or a Ronaldo fan?
Personally, but what, like, play style, who I prefer?
Yes. Don't say Messi.
Yeah, I think I'd have to. It's just no one who moves with the ball like he does.
That's because.
But I mean, to be fair, we're lucky to, you know, be able to in this generation of football where we're privileged to watch both of them play. And I think if you took a couple of extra players in, like Neymar, Mbappe, Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, I mean, you can add easily 30, 40, maybe 50 like top level elites who could possibly 50 players who are playing right now could make it into the top 100.
You didn't mention Mo Salah.
Mo Salah. Well, I mean, it's a bit controversial, but he does go missing quite often. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd much rather, if I had to choose Mane or Salah, I think I'd have to go Mane.
We are going to have words after this podcast.
But I mean, that's just preference choice for me. I mean, he's still a very good player, but I think plenty of times I've watched games and he's just gone missing.
Fair play, but we're still going to have words.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
I want to thank Layla for coming down to do this podcast. It's been really good. We've organised it. It's been a very insightful look into rugby. And the things that she likes about rugby and the things that she doesn't like about rugby. And I just want to say thank you for coming down.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Lovely to meet you both.
Thank you very much. Right, we're starting this beer review. We are going to review St Austell Brewery's Proper Job, and it is 5.5%. And like I say, it's me, Layla, and Mike are going to do this, and we're just going to talk about it for a second. So, here we go. I shall pour mine, and then I shall pass it round. Hold up. That's my little bit. I shall pass the bottle.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's a nice bottle actually as
It
well,
is,
isn't it? I
yeah.
like the label
Yeah.
and.
They had to stop doing the brew for a while because they'd run out of bottles.
Oh right, okay.
And basically the colour, I do like the colour. It's not pale, it's more amber. Smells really nice. It's really hoppy. Well, that's what I think. But the actual taste of it is, for me, I'll tell you in a second. It's actually, wow. It's quite nice, actually. What would you say about that, Mike?
Oh, yeah, it's really nice. It's very sweet.
I do like it. It's got a nice bitter taste. What do you think, Layla?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a real ale virgin because I only drink lager, and actually I'm really impressed because you know what, I thought it'd be quite heavy tasting, but it's quite light, isn't it? Quite
it is
refreshing.
quite light, yeah.
It's light and hoppy, a little bit hoppy.
Nice and hoppy. St Austell do some fantastic ales. One I will do a review on, it will be a stout called Menadu that they do, and I know Mike's already tried it a few weeks ago, and he said he liked it. Yeah. So we'll have to get that one in and do a full review on it. But I personally, I could drink this till it comes out my ears.
I think I could be a convert.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that plum porter was really nice as well. I haven't tasted anything from these guys that isn't.
If you go to Tesco, you can get 4 bottles for £6.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
good. Every bottle brewed is actually brewed in St Austell. It's not, like under license in Stoke or Burton. Sorry, these are everything that they do comes from Cornwall.
How many beers do they produce?
To be fair, they've got a small batch, which is normally like 5 or 6 that they try out. But they do one called Hicks Special Brew. They do Menadu. They do one called Milkshake. They do Proper Job. They do Big Job. They do a Russian Stout at 10% volume. Wow. I've had that, and it blows your mind. But the Milkshake one is actually made with milk.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's cloudy, but it is beautiful.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Really. I'll go online, get a bottle, get a box and a box of Menadu and a few others sent up, and we'll sit one night and we'll review them in great detail.
Yeah, I'd like to do the milkshake. It sounds intriguing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very popular thing. The guy that brews it, it started off as a small batch, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now, if you go on the website, it's not on the. It is on the website, but you've got to go looking for it. It's not on the actual shop. You have to ask for it because it's that popular.
Wow.
But what we with this, I'll just go into Proper Job itself. They also do one called Tribute, and they do a Cornish one called Karev. You can't get Karev anywhere normally north of Bristol, but you couldn't. But now, over the last couple of months, they start doing them in certain Tesco's. But I am a Proper Job ambassador, and basically, I promote this drink, and it's through the love of actually having it. We get there's only about 150 of us, literally in the world, that promote this.
Yeah, I can see why, tasting it. Yeah,
and we
definitely.
go down to the beer festival all together, all dressed in the same uniform, and we sample this and many more. I sampled the plum porter a few years back, and I'm hooked on a plum porter.
Yeah, it was amazing.
If I see one anywhere, I have to buy it because I just think it's amazing. But this itself, you go to Asda and Tesco, the deals are different. One's 4 for £6 and one's 4 for £7. I can't remember which one it is, but if you want something that's got a little bit of hoppiness about it, and you wouldn't go far wrong with this. And this has actually been reviewed on Saturday Kitchen.
Oh really?
A few months back, yeah. we all got the email telling us it was going to be on Saturday Kitchen, and we did something on Twitter a few months back. We all decided on one particular day we was going to do a proper Friday. So Friday night, 7 p.m, we all went on Twitter. We all took a photo of us proper job that we did, and we got it trending on Twitter.
Did you go viral?
We did actually.
Fantastic.
We actually took photos of the trends. It's like, oh my god, worldwide was like 3 or 4. I think we just went right to the number 1 at one point. And we literally just drank and drank and drank that night. It was great, and it was fun.
Good.
That's one of the things I like about sort of real ale is that it's a really wide. I don't really drink lager. I've never drunk lager, but it's kind of a one-trick pony. Lager's lager, whereas with ale, it's such a wide. If you remember, back last week when we had the plum porter, it was a totally different drink. It's like, cola and orange juice. That it was that different day and night between that and this, but it's all real ale. And I like the fact that it's such a wide church. There's such a lot going on that there's something for everybody, probably.
I'm gonna say there's a lot of people that say they don't like real ale because what they say is, and this is their words, not mine, they reckon it smells and tastes like fart. And fair play to them if you there's certain, but I haven't tried a St Austell one yet that I don't like.
Yeah, to be fair, that was probably my perception until just now, trying this, and I'm so surprised how nice it is.
I'll get the big job, which again is, I think it's 9% and the Russian stout, which is 10%, and we'll review them. And at that point, once you've had one, I had one. I bought 2 bottles of it, and after one, I was absolutely hammered. And it's normal size bottles. It's not like it's a big bottle, but it was quite, strong.
I suppose the great thing is as well, as opposed to lagers, is if it's from the UK, you're supporting the British economy as well post Brexit. So it's a win-win, isn't it? Really?
Yes. The guys at St Austell, I mean, they work hard. I mean, Rob Orton, who brews it, is amazing. We've also got Mark Bishop, who is a beer sommelier who got us all into being an ambassador. He's fantastic at everything he does for the promotional side of it. And then you've got absolute fantastic ambassadors that all we do is talk about beer. And we talk more than just beer, but beer is we've got our own private group, and we all talk about everything proper job or St Austell. And whenever we go down, we do a tour of the brewery, and from that we have a few tasters of what's brewing, and then we let people know what was brewing that week on the small batch. And there was one, and I missed it one time, and I haven't seen it about anyway. It's called Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And I want to drink that. I really want to try that. So if anybody who knows St Austell Brewery would like to make some Harley Quinn and send it my way, I'd be much appreciated. Thank you very much.
And if you're ever, I think you say about the tour, no British holiday is a British holiday without a tour of some kind of brewery. It's a prerequisite. You've got to do it.
Absolutely, I agree.
It's a great.
if you don't go somewhere where there's a brewery, it's rock. I mean, for instance, I'm going to New England. We're going to where they make Shipyard, which is my wife's favourite drink. It's brewed in Maine. The original is. You can get it over here, brewed in Burton, but I prefer it from America.
But
it's not quite as glamorous.
It's not as glamorous, is it?
Paris, New York.
Yeah. But we're also next time we go to Florida, we're actually doing the Budweiser tour.
Oh wow!
But we don't know when, because we've got a few other places that we want to go to, like I say, like Texas. But the real ale. Speaking of real ale, we went to a place in Florida, and it was a real ale bar. There was like 60 or odd real ales it was all local breweries,
Right.
and the bar was owned by Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Really? No
Yeah,
way.
and
Are they getting into the real ale over there?
oh yes, oh yeah. Well, Gene is. I know that much. He's got 3. It's called Rock and Brews,
Wow.
and it was supposed to be opening the day we was leaving. The night before we was leaving Florida, so we knew we were only going to have one night in there. But it opened 3 days early, so for the 3 nights we was in there getting sloshed. It was brilliant, and the beer was amazing. And the artwork in there with all the photos from album covers and stuff like that. Oh, it was great.
Wow.
They played some fantastic music as well. So.
No, I bet they did.
And it wasn't all Kiss, strangely
Wow.
enough.
You know, our vocalist in my band, he's obsessed with Kiss.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's at the moment trying to source a original Kiss pinball machine.
Contact Gene. Yeah, he might charge the earth, but ask him for a few beers as well, so
Yeah,
we
he's
can
probably got
maybe
a few
promote them.
pinball machines knocking about as well.
And I think that is it for our review tonight. Like I say, the next one, I'm not exactly sure, but it will be a St. Auster one, I think. Or we could even do the Iron Maiden's Trooper or Lightroom, which is also real ale. And we are finishing off. I want to thank everybody for listening, and we'll see you again next week.